The reason I started a booktube channel 2 years ago was because I couldn't really find any queer content on booktube. Luckily, since then there have been more voices added, and I've stumbled on other queer booktubers, but I still have trouble finding them. So I wanted to create a tag that would help network queer booktubers, but I didn't want to call it queer booktube because I know some people don't identify that way, which is why it's the LGBTQIA+ booktuber tag. I wanted to keep this really basic because it's not so much about the questions as helping queer booktubers get seen. I do have a few suggestions, but feel free to pick and choose which questions you want to answer or add your own. Question number 1 is, how do you identify? Tell us a little bit about yourself. So my name is Danika. I am a cisgender, queer, bisexual, sexually fluid woman. Basically, I'm attracted to women 99% of the time, but I am dating a guy right now because fluidity. I have more videos that talk about my identity more in depth and what fluidity means, so I'll link those down below if you're interested. Question number 2 is, what are some of your favorite queer books or authors? Sarah Waters is my favorite author of all time, but especially Tipping the Velvet and Fingersmith, which are both lesbian novels. I also love, to name a few, Body Map by Leigh Lakshmi Piepzna Samrasina, Fierce Femmes and Notorious Liars by Kai Cheng Tom, The Miseducation of Cameron Post by Emily M. Danforth, basically anything by Nalo Hopkinson, but especially The Salt Roads and Falling in Love with Hominids, though there's only a couple queer stories in that one. The 100 Nights of Hero, and I could go on and on, but I actually have a list of all of the queer one books that I recommend and that I've read and loved, so I'll link that. I have more than 100 books on there, so I'm not going to try to list them all. Question number 3 is, how often do you talk about LGBTQIA books on your channel, and what are some videos that are good examples if people are looking for queer content? My channel is, I would say, primarily based on queer women books, like most of the things I do. Some of my favorites that I've done are my video What is Lesbian Literature and my video on queer women fantasy book recommendations. I also have a playlist called Queer Women Booktube that includes some of my videos on queer books, but also some other people's, and I'll also link that. Question number 4 is, what are some of your favorite other queer booktubers? And I would say Cece from Problems of a Book Nerd, Ileana from Virginia Woolf, Joseph from The Boy Who Cried Books, Nicole from Wolf's Whistle. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to a couple booktubers who aren't active anymore, but I still love their videos. Jessie from Cup of Books, who should definitely make videos again if you want to, but you can also check out her old videos because they're great. And Ron from Ron Lit. Do you guys remember Ron? Because her videos were incredible, and they're all gone now, and I still am mourning them. And lastly, is there anything you want to add, and who would you like to tag? So I've said everything that I wanted to with this video. It was inspired by some recent events on BookTube, but mostly I just would rather be proactive and do something positive, so I wanted to use this opportunity to uplift queer booktubers. I will tag everyone I mentioned in question 4, of course, as well as anyone who's interested who identifies as LGBTQIA+ and who has a booktube channel. Honestly, if I haven't mentioned your channel, it's probably just because I haven't seen it yet, which means I would really love if you would do this tag so I can discover your channel. Booktube is so big now that it can be hard to discover other smaller creators. One last note, I want to be very clear that by LGBTQIA+ and by queer, I am inclusive of trans people, non-binary people, two-spirit people, asexual people, aromantic people, pansexual people, just anyone who identifies under the umbrella. It's for anyone who isn't straight, cisgender, or allo. And if you aren't LGBTQIA+ yourself, but you want to recommend some queer channels, feel free to link them in the comments, and I'll definitely check them out. And if you do this tag, also link your video in the comments so I can see them, and I'll create a playlist of them. And thank you for watching.